still talk about the film, it's got quite serious intentions behind it. Okay, it's a genre piece, but it actually comes from something quite serious that, you have experience of.
Yeah, so I did. I've had a few people close to me with some mental health issues, and so I really wanted to be authentic when I was making it. I started reading this book called Danger to Self. It's a book which is kind of a deep dive into emergency psych, and I knew that's where I wanted it to take place because it kind of was the kind of themes I was dealing with connected to that world a little bit, right? And so I actually got a hold of the author of that book, and he came on as a consultant and sort of would read pages of the script and make sure that, that technically I was right and that, even the dialogue was right and all that. And so I wanted it to be authentic. So.
Was it a long process, the script? Did you work on it quite a lot to get it exactly right?
Yeah, well, first off, after that experience, I wrote and directed a short film called The Suicide Tapes, right? And then I still like those themes so much that I continued with it and developed it into this, so.
Now, Shane Carruth is the star. How'd you get hold of him? You friends? Do you know each other? Just a fan of Primer or an Upstream Color?
I was at home one day. I just finished the script. We were looking for money, and so we were starting to search, and I was at home watching Upstream Color, and I was like, he would just be the perfect psychiatrist. He is so unaffected. He is so natural, and that's what I gravitate to, and that's what I like, and I thought it was also very perfect for this story. So anyway, so a few months go by, and we find the money, and then I said, I asked my producer, Dennis, see if we can get a hold of him, see if we can put a script in front of him, and we were able to, and he read it, and he loved it, and he came on immediately, so it was awesome. So.
But how was that? Because he's a director as well, isn't he? So, did he listen to what you were saying, or did he have his own ideas? How was that?
He's definitely a director at heart, but he was extraordinarily respectful for me as a director. He would say, okay, now look, I have an idea, but whatever you say, we're gonna do, right? So he was, and he lived up to that the whole time, because we would agree and we disagree, and when I'd say no, I want to go this way, he'd go sure, and he would go. So, but he did challenge me because of that, I think, and I think I'm a better filmmaker for it. So, yeah.
It's got an interesting structure, the film, I think, the way, you're sort of dwelling on the characters, sort of there, and then more or less coming together. Was that always the case, or, did that suggest itself to you early on?
No, that was very intentional. That is something in my last film I kind of got close to in structure. I saw it as an interesting structure, and I said I want to do it better. And so when I wrote that script, because what happens is, what's interesting about it is you have this story of Daniel, the lead, and then you have this other medical examiner, and they're both going after the same mystery, right? And as it gets closer to the end, they're getting closer and closer, but you as the audience are feeling the walls close in, right? You're feeling that inevitability as it happens, right? And that structure, that effect happens with that structure, and where you just feel it coming, you feel it coming, and you feel it coming. And no, it's very intentional. I think it worked. This time it worked better than the last one. So, but yeah.
Now you shot in a working hospital, a disused hospital, for 6 months in 6 weeks in Tennessee in the heat. It must have been a nightmare.
Awful. Yeah. No, it was. Well, we also were lucky, so it's both. I was grateful and it was awful because it was going to be developed into condos, I think, or into restaurants, because it was from the 60s and 70s. Maybe it went into the 80s, I'm not sure, but it was a crazy building. This building was huge, and it had other doctors' offices in it, and, we only found this one little area, and we said, okay, I think we can renovate this. So we went in, we painted, they let us do anything we wanted, and we sort of mapped out this one area and worked with it there. But yes, there was no AC, and it was June in Tennessee. So, poor Shane. We were constantly dabbing him, because it was just a sweat box.